In this episode, we are summarizing the 12th episode from Season 4 of the Wire series titled That's Got His Own. The episode first aired on December 3rd, 2006. In the beginning, Michael Lee is running from Chris and Snoop, hiding in a warehouse, when he surprises them, shooting them with his paintball gun. He impresses them with his skills, and Chris asks him what his strategy is for shooting. Michael explains that he aims low when at a distance and toward the head when he is up close, because he does not know if the victim is wearing a bulletproof vest or not. Later on, Perez visits Randy at his home with his foster mother Anna due to safety concerns. Perez delivers Randy's schoolwork and learns they are considering changing schools to avoid further issues in the neighborhood. As Perez leaves, he notices a car parked nearby. As we catch up with the Major Crimes Unit, Lester Freeman continues searching for bodies in vacant houses, noticing a pattern in the way the houses have been resealed. Sergeant Landsman stops him, fearing it will hurt their clearance rate. Freeman is upset, but his mood improves when Lieutenant Marimo leaves. Later on, Lieutenant Asher returns to the unit and asks what the brass are thinking, having transferred him out just a few months ago. Freeman does not answer the question and instead inquires about Asher's beach house. When Asher enters his office, Herc asks Freeman who he is, and Freeman tells him that he is one of the most effective commanders in the department. The viewer knows Asher's effectiveness is due to his almost total non-involvement. Freeman meets with CID Commander Cedric Daniels and Assistant State's Attorney Perlman. He makes a case that they should be searching other vacant houses for other bodies. Like Landsman, Daniels is concerned about the murder rate. Perlman asks what other work they are doing on Stanfield and whether there are links between Stanfield and the missing persons that Freeman has selected. He explains that there are links in some cases and presents his strategy for following the money and resurrecting the wiretaps. He asks if Landsman has run the information about the bodies up the chain of command to Daniels and learns that he has not. Perlman leaves the decision to Daniels, who tells Freeman that he will take it to the command staff. Daniels tells Deputy Commissioner Rawls about Freeman's theory and believes it to be true. Rawls sees it as a way to shift blame for poor statistics from Royce's administration. Rawls realizes Daniels could threaten his own aspirations to become commissioner. He instructs Daniels to keep the suggestion quiet to benefit both of them. Rawls then immediately meets with Mayor Carcetti and presents Freeman's discovery as his own. Carcetti criticizes Rawls for focusing on statistics but still supports uncovering the bodies before New Year. In a bar, Freeman, Bunk, and McNulty discuss the body problem. Bunk tries to change the topic, but Freeman insists. He bets he can find a body in any row house with matching nails, and Bunk agrees. McNulty leaves, declining to drink more. The trio quickly finds a body, Little Kevin's. Freeman tells McNulty he can't discover bodies without approval, hinting that under Daniels' command, things may change. The next morning, Freeman meets with Herc and Sidnor. He is frustrated to find out that Stanfield's crew members do not use cell phones. Two detectives from Internal Investigations Division arrive, asking Herc about a borrowed camera and his informant paperwork. They also want statements from Sidnor and Dozerman, but Herc takes full responsibility for the camera. In the political world, Mayor Carcetti is leading a meeting discussing the school budget deficit. Both Nerese Campbell and Andy Krawczyk, who is also the school board president, deny any responsibility in the deficit. Carcetti's new chief of staff proposes cutting budgets in other areas, which Carcetti rejects, unwilling to break campaign promises. Campbell suggests seeking financial aid from the Republican governor. Carcetti and Wilson wait for a meeting with the governor, frustrated by the delay. Eventually, Carcetti decides to leave, but as they are about to exit, they are told the governor is ready to see them. Carcetti meets with his staff to consider the governor's offer of more funding in return for increased state control over the schools. Campbell suggests the governor aims to undermine Carcetti by making him appear ineffective. The budget advisor advises accepting the funds, while Wilson supports this view, but Andy disagrees. Campbell declines to offer an opinion, expressing relief at not being in Carcetti's shoes. In another scene, Namond sees Kennard is late for work, and Kennard claims his stash was stolen, blaming the police for the loss. Namond believes him but discusses it with Michael. Michael suspects Kennard stole it and is lying to Namond. After the conversation, Namond plans to confront Kennard and even Naaman's mother urges him to take action immediately. Michael suggests Naaman verify Kennard's story by checking the door and confronting him. Naaman asks Michael to join him when he goes to talk to Kennard. Naaman's mother urges him to make Kennard suffer for his betrayal. We see she is disappointed that he hasn't acted yet. Naaman goes to accuse Kennard of stealing the package, but Kennard mocks Naaman. Without hesitation, Michael attacks Kennard. This act leaves Naaman stunned and in disbelief. Naaman then runs away without first retrieving his package. Meanwhile, Sergeant Carver goes to visit Randy's home to reassure Miss Anna that the plainclothes officers are still monitoring her house from outside. The next day, Naaman feels insecure of his masculinity and he heads to Cuddy's gym and insults Dookie. This then leads to Michael pushing him against the wall and slapping him. Cuddy steps in to defend Naaman yet again, and Michael leaves. Cuddy consoles Naaman as he breaks down in tears. In potentially one of the saddest scenes in the entire series, while the police unit guarding Randy's house is lured away by a false report, two men throw fire cocktails through Miss Anna's window, setting her home on fire. Here we see how Randy's good nature and willingness to do what is right for his friends and others has hurt him dearly, and it's all because of the environment he is in. As we catch up with Cuddy, he finally finds Michael with Monk at a corner. Despite Monk's profanity, Cuddy approaches Michael. Monk shoots Cuddy twice in the leg, but Michael intervenes, preventing further harm. Eventually, Monk leaves with O-Dog and the others. Michael offers to wait with Cuddy for the ambulance, but Cuddy insists he leave as a way of shielding him from the law. Later on, Bubbles goes to the horse yard to seek advice from the fruit vendors he occasionally works for. He discusses ways to handle his tormentor with them. They propose different ideas but ultimately land on suggesting poisoning the man by substituting a poison into the vials of drugs he steals from him. Bubbles prepares several vials. He then assigns Sherrod his own route. He advises him not to confront the man who keeps beating and stealing from them. Bubbles returns and Sherrod is asleep with the earnings he made that day on the table. The next day, Bubbles wakes up with plans to earn more money, but is shocked to find that Sherrod took some of his vials he had intended to pass on to the man who had been tormenting them all along, but instead Sherrod became the victim and is now dead. As we catch up with Omar, he is still trailing Cheese, observing him as he meets with Marlo Stanfield's associates. Cheese's casual attitude contrasts with the serious demeanor of Marlo, Chris, Snoop, O-Dog, and Monk. Marlo pays Cheese more than anticipated and requests a larger drug shipment. Cheese hesitates, saying that he needs to consult with Proposition Joe. He gives Monk a disposable phone for future communication. Omar arranges a meeting at Butchie's bar to assemble a team. His old associate Kimmy joins. Omar continues trailing Cheese as he plans to deliver a new shipment to Marlo. Proposition Joe calls with a theft opportunity, but Omar declines it, focused on the current mission. With Ronaldo and Kimmy, they follow Cheese's van to a meeting spot. Kimmy, disguised as a prostitute, distracts a guard while Ronaldo's associates, posing as painters, block the van. Omar confronts Cheese's crew, demanding they open the trunk, and the entire shipment now belongs to Omar. Later on, Proposition Joe expresses concern to Cheese about the stolen shipment. Joe fears the co-op might suspect him of being in on stealing the shipment himself. That was episode number 49, titled That's Got His Own. To watch the next or previous episode summary, click on the link in the description or at the end of this video. If you made it to the end of this video, remember I am summarizing this entire series as well as other popular works of culture like literature, movies, and TV shows. I have the playlists of our summaries in the description. Also, if you found the video to be valuable, share it with a friend and click like so that YouTube can recommend it to other viewers like you. The best way to support this channel, of course, is by becoming a Patreon supporter or by buying us a coffee. You will find those links in the description as well. Doing this helps our channel out tremendously. I really thank you for your support.